Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that probably about once or twice a year I'm doing a video about water and how important it is for you to know that the water that you are consuming is safe to drink. Whether or not you have a well, or whether or not you get utility water, or whether or not you do like I do. I have to haul my own water. I have an article here, and actually thank you to one of our community members that sent me a link to this article and allowed me to know what was going on here in Florida with a problem that they had with hackers getting into their water system's computer and actually changing the composition of how much chemicals is added to the water. Now, after reading this article, which I'm going to read real quick for you all, I learned that they actually put lye inside of water. I'm going to read the article so you all know. I know that in our community we have someone that works in the water utility industry, and maybe he can chime in on why they put lye in water. Unless you are actively engaged in making sure that the water that you drink is good, you really don't know what's in your water, not even the bottled water that you drink. So I do have a few recommendations for you, and actually it's what I do, and I'll go ahead and do that towards the end of this video. But let's go ahead and read this article real quick. Poison plot. Hackers break into Florida water treatment plant system and try to poison supply by remotely adding caustic chemicals. Hackers infiltrated a water treatment plant in Florida and tried to poison the water supply, police have revealed. The hackers broke into the facilities serving Oldsmar, a town near to Tampa, Florida, and increased the sodium hydroxide amount from 100 parts per million to 11,100 parts per million for a short time frame. In these mega quantities, it's a caustic substance, says the sheriff. An operator of the plant noticed the mouse on a screen moving at 8 a.m. and at 1:30 p.m. The guy was sitting there monitoring the computer as he's supposed to, and all of a sudden he sees a window pop up that the computer has been accessed, says the sheriff. The next thing you know, someone is dragging the mouse and clicking around and opening programs and manipulating the system. So it seems that the hacker was probably hoping that there was no one sitting at the desk monitoring the computer. So it's a good thing that that person was actually doing his job. Small amounts of sodium hydroxide, also referred to as lye, are used to control acid levels in water, but a higher concentration in drinking water can be dangerous. See, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't even know that they put lye in the drinking water that we're supplied with through our utilities. Upon noticing the hacker activating in the morning and afternoon, the worker at the plant called the sheriff's office. The water treatment plant was able to reverse the hacker's command quickly, and the amount of sodium hydroxide or lye that got into the water system was minimal and was reversed quickly. And the sheriff goes to say that they don't know whether the hack was within the continental United States or outside the United States, but that they're going to investigate that. I'll go ahead and leave the link to this article, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can go ahead and take a look at it for yourselves if you like. It'll be at the bottom of the description of the video. However, I just wanted to point this out, and again, thank you to the community member that alerted me to this article. I wanted to point this out because, ladies and gentlemen, if you get your water from a utility, from a plant that's a water treatment system for wherever it is that you live, only because a professional installation is providing you with potable water, it doesn't always mean that it's potable. And I'll go ahead and I'll go back to the example that I've used many times about Flint, Michigan, where the state itself knew that the water was tainted with lead, and they still allowed their citizenry to drink that water. Why? Because it would cost too much money for them to fix the problem. Well, then after a whole bunch of people, and a lot of kids as well, ended up getting cancer, ended up dying, ended up suffering, then they decided to go ahead and try to find a solution for the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, don't wait for that to be you. I don't think that we should trust anyone with how our water is cleaned and delivered to us. We all have a choice on how we get our water. However, a lot of us don't have the know-how on how to make sure that that water is clean and safe to drink. Now, I'm just going to show you real quick what I do in order to ensure that the water that I'm drinking is as safe as I can possibly get it. And I'm not a professional when it comes to, how good water is, but I do know that I've been using this system for the last 4 years, and it's always provided me with really good clean water, because I do have a way to test at least the ppms, the parts of particles per million in the water. I have a way of testing it, and if it gets too high, all I do is one simple thing. I change out a simple filter that comes with my reverse osmosis system. So let me go ahead and show you real quick what system I have in place to make sure that the water that I'm consuming and my family's consuming is as clean as I can possibly get it. Now, to start off with, I have a main house water filter, which is what you're looking at right here. This water filter doesn't really do too much. All it does is it removes particles that are like up to 5 microns, which is kind of a lot. They're up to about 5 microns in size, and it also removes some of the chlorine taste that comes from the water from the treatment facility, right? So what this is doing is I consider this prepping my water before it gets to my reverse osmosis system, before we go ahead and use that water to drink and cook with. The water that goes through this filter right here is our utility water. And what do I mean by utility water? It means that it is the water that we use to like do laundry, to take a shower, even to do dishes. This is the water that we use to do those things, the water that passes through this filtration system right here. This is a basic filtration system. It's very easy to install, and as you can see, it's not that much. It's about $100. And the filters will last, well, they last me probably almost a year for one filter. I change my filters out about every year, right? And they're not very expensive. So what am I getting at here, ladies and gentlemen? It's this. What's the first B of prepping? The first B of prepping I label as beans, right? But really, it's beans and biologicals. What does that mean? You need food and water in order to live, right? Food, water, warmth, shelter. But that first B of prepping includes food and water. And if you're not taking care of your water, then eventually, what good would your food be if your water's tainted? So before you go ahead and consider filling up all of the rest of your B's of prepping, consider making sure that you have something in place that will allow you to have safe water to drink. Now, a lot of people are going to say, what about the Berkey water system? Outstanding system. However, I really like the reverse osmosis system because you don't have to mess with it. I haven't changed my filters on my reverse osmosis system since I got it. That was over 4 years ago. And the reason for that is because the system that I got, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, is a system that can output up to 50 gallons of water per day, of reverse osmosis water per day. We don't go through 50 gallons of reverse osmosis water per day. We maybe go through 2 or 3 because we only use it for cooking and for drinking. So those filters that came in it originally, they're still there and they're still doing a fine job. Now this here is the system that I have. And some people have pointed out to me that this system isn't really that great. And I'm going to tell you why. Because reverse osmosis takes everything out of your water. It even takes out the minerals out of your water. It's like 99.999 to the infinite power pure water that comes out of there, depending on how old your filters are. And that's why I recommend that you go ahead and get yourself a ppm measuring stick, so that you can put that measuring stick inside of your water and see if you need to change out your filters. So if you get something like this, like what I got, you're going to get water that has absolutely nothing in it. No nutrients, no nothing. In times that we live in today, where we have food easily accessible to us, I think that's no problem, because whatever minerals your waters are missing, more than likely you're getting those minerals back through the things that you eat, or whether you take a multivitamin or something like that. This system works great. It has worked great for me for years, and it's the only reason I recommend it, is because I think it is an outstanding system. However, for those of you that want a system that actually include a cartridge that provides minerals back into the water, then this system right here also exists, which is the same brand. However, it comes with a cartridge right here that says alkaline, ALK, which goes ahead and brings the pH of your water to where it's supposed to be, roughly 7.5 or so pH level. So for those of you that are worried about not having nutrients or having minerals in your water, this system is for you. And ladies and gentlemen, when you take a look at the price, $270 for this system or $190 for this system, think about how much you would spend on bottled water. I mean, you go to a gas station, let's just say you pay $1 for a bottle of water, for a liter of water. There's what, almost 4 liters of water in a gallon. So let's say that you're going through 4 liters of water a day. That's $4, and that's on the cheap side. That's very conservative. I mean, a bottle of water at a gas station or at a store, you're looking at more than $1. But let's say you're spending $4 a day. In 2 months, you've already spent enough to go ahead and purchase yourselves a reverse osmosis system, and then just have your own bottle, a glass bottle or a stainless steel bottle that you use to bring your water with you wherever you want to go. So the cost is really minimal when compared to how much the average person spends on bottled water from gas stations and supermarkets. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I hope you get something out of this. I hope that you go ahead and take a look at this article right here and see for yourself that you never know how good your water is, even if you have the greatest water treatment facility in the US. What if that person that was sitting behind that desk wasn't there? What if he had taken a bathroom break and someone was able to hack in and actually add that lye to the water, causing it to do harm to people? You just never know. I mean, we can come up with 1,000 different scenarios, so why take the chance? All right, having said that, thank you very much for joining in. I hope you got something out of this. Like I said, I'll leave the link to this article under the description of the video. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I'm out.